clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder Amoroso.
Here.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Here.
Freeholder Tonelli.
Here.
Freeholder Voss is absent. Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Here. Evidence of a quorum is present. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will everyone kindly remain standing? I'd ask that we have a moment of silence for Mr. Thomas Epper, 48 of Hackensack, who passed away on July 26th. Mr. Epper was an assistant supervisor of heavy equipment operators for the Bergen County Department of Public Works and a member of the Blue Collar Union Local 655. He is survived by his wife Catherine and two children, Jared and Thomas. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. I'd ask for a moment of silence. Thank you. For those of you who don't know, we had a moment of silence for one of our county workers who lost his life on a job the other day. As the Freeholder chairman, our deepest condolences go out to his family. He was a great guy, a good worker, and just a tragic accident. And I just want to say to his family that whatever you need, we are there for you. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything, but if not, we'll just leave it at that. Thank you. Before we begin tonight's meeting, we have a presentation. The Freeholder Board wishes to recognize John Hogan of the County Clerk's and the County Clerk's Office in recognition of their perfect score through the United States National Passport Center. I don't believe Mr. Hogan is in attendance, but Steve Chung, his deputy, is here. So, Steve, if you'd like to come up, we're going to give commendations to all to your employees, Mr. Hogan, Mr. Chung, Rosemary, Assisi, Liliana, Altovaro, Julia Knopp, Linda Petronik, I'm sorry if I botched some of these names, like the next one, Azib Shafaro, Sue Tassi, Destiny Vaccaro, Beverly White, Nat Alawa, Richie Garcia, and Sabrina Taranto. I asked our colleagues, my Freeholder colleagues to join me. We have, I'm just gonna hand this to you. I think we should do it if you don't mind. Richie Garcia. Thank you very much. Beverly?
There we go. Got word. Yeah, there we go.
Just an honor and celebration of being recognized by the United States National Passport Center in appreciation of your exemplary dedication to serving the residents of the County of Bergen. Thank you all for your service. Let's have a round of applause for it. So let's try to get in front here. Come on in front. Let's make you ready. Hang in front of me. So before you all walk away, on behalf of the Freeholder Board, and they'll make some comments if they'd like, we really want to say thank you. We know Hogan's not really doing as good a job as you guys are. We know that you're carrying the department, but on a serious note, it's a great job by John, and great job, but John couldn't do it without all of you, so thank you very much. We're here, a team here in Bergen County, and you guys are definitely driving the bus, so thank you very much for everything you do. Thank you. Steve, as the highest ranking official, would you like to say something?
Thank you. What these people do every day cannot put into one citation, but they are the face of our office, and they can make any customer walk in and out with a great smile. Thank you, and thank you for doing this. And next time when it comes, we'll give a free picture if it doesn't break the camera.
I'll translate that later. What's that? That's it? Wow.
So Steve got in a little jam there, good for him.
Yeah, that was definitely a Hogan jam. It wasn't a Steve jam.
Yeah, right.
Steve, thanks for taking the place of your esteemed boss. You didn't even come close to shining your shoes, though, so I'll let him know in the morning.
Oh, my God.
We'll now have the hearing of the general public. He still got me, Steve. He got me good.
And he did, he got it.
With a 3-minute time limit in effect in accordance with the Bergen County Freeholder bylaws. The board attorney will keep the time. When the time of the speaker expires, the board attorney will announce the time has expired. Please fill out a slip of paper with your name, address, and your general topic that you would like to speak about.
Did we have a motion and a second on the meeting?
May I have a
We didn't have a motion.
No, we did not.
Okay.
It's not on
We need a motion.
Can I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Nancy Salvatore? Salvati. That was close.
You have to come out.
I would like to yield my speaking to the president of Bergen Audubon. Oh, sorry. Would you spell your last name, please? Sure. That's right. It's Salvati.
Facing the freeholders, please come.
You get that.
First
That's
time,
fine.
thank
That's
you.
okay.
Yes, my name is Salvati, Nancy. I live in Cliffside Park, New Jersey, and I'm a member of Bergen County Audubon Society and Sierra Club.
Okay?
So I would like to protest the construction or the movement of the dinosaurs from, I think it was Laurel Hill, to Overpeck, to save that land for new trails and nature, things that citizens like and don't have to pay for. I protest the commercialization.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. So if we're gonna clap after every person, it's gonna take a long time to get through this. So let's just save our applause for the end. Kathleen Jerome, please.
I'll keep it short and sweet.
Thank you.
We have wonderful parks. We don't need animatronic dinosaurs. We don't need to pay money for animatronic dinosaurs. We need to keep our parks the way they are so that people can enjoy them. Done.
Thank you.
Oh,
Jerome.
Sally Geller.
Kim.
Jerome.
Jerome.
This is Sally Gellert, that's Gellert.
That's correct. Sally Gallett from Woodcliff Lake. I was really appalled to see a proposal to take 75 acres of Green Acres space and open it to a privately funded exhibit, a commercial project, a parking lot. This is Green Acres space. We voted to keep this space open. We have so little open space. We are such a crowded county. The dinosaurs have a home. You can find a better place for a parking lot. Please keep the space commercial. I was at a bunch of Bergen County Master Plan meetings, the parks meetings, and almost everybody was saying, we need our open space. We're so crowded. Please keep it open. Thank you.
You do understand this is on a garbage dump, correct? And the site needs to be remediated.
This,
Listen, you all have your opinions. I just wanted to get that out there. And I understand your opinion. I'm not
It's-
berating you.
it may have been a garbage dump in the past. It has plant life
Still
on
is.
it. Let it bioremediate it with some phytoremediation where you put grasses, vetiver grass that takes up the garbage and fix it that way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Sandy Silverberg. Did I get that right? Thank you.
Silverb, as in boy, ERG. Sandra. Teaneck, and I also am representing Bergen Grassroots. I appreciate the need to find revenue sources, to create areas for recreation. I appreciate the need to do that. However, there's been so much development in Bergen County. We have impermeable space replacing permeable space. And is it any wonder that the flooding situation gets worse and worse and worse? We also have squeezed wildlife out of their natural habitat, and they're coming into residential areas, bringing with them disease and all kinds of destruction, costly destruction, never mind causing traffic accidents and human life at stake. And we already have a dinosaur area, and perhaps that needs to be spruced up, but let them stay where they are and leave our open space alone. I also have studied the master plan and seen the reactions to it. And as far as this being a former landfill, that landfill is mitigated to, in years, become more habitat. So I hope you'll reconsider finding sources of revenue elsewhere. Thank you.
Just so everyone is aware that the area needs to be, it hasn't been mitigated, it needs to be capped, and things need to be done with the garbage dump. Hildegard Amsler.
Hildegard. AM, P like Peter, 2S is Sam, love easy Roger. Hildegard Amsler, a resident of Maywood, 65 Edgewood Place. I'm here to ask you to please don't sacrifice open space, okay? We have enough dinosaurs already in Bergen County, and most of them seem to be behind the wheel. So please, no more. Thank you. If you have, and I don't want to use 3 minutes, because I want to just get through in one, so that the rest of my time can go to Don Torino, who's a lot more articulate than I am. But if you have money to spend, please help the towns with restriping. There's a great new pattern now, a pattern of restriping pedestrian crosswalks. A lot of county roads go through our towns, in Maywood especially we have them, and they are in dire need of restriping, and the lack of that restriping has horrific consequences. We
are
lost one of
responsible
our
for striping
residents
the
in
county.
June.
The county is responsible for doing the county roads only.
Right, we have
Anything else-
major,
anything else you're talking
Passaic,
about, right.
Central, those
Just-
are county roads.
Right, okay.
And they are in desperate
Just
need of
wanted to make
so
sure you're aware.
if you
Thank
have
you.
money hanging around, please throw it onto that. That would really be useful. And don't sacrifice open space.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mark Fisher.
Good evening. I'm Mark Fisher from Teaneck, and I'm a member of the Bergen County Audubon Society. In 1951, Teaneck gave to the County of Bergen a large piece of land earmarked to be used for a park. What happened instead was the County of Bergen turned it into a garbage dump.
I think you're mistaken.
No, it's not. There was a dispute that went on for years and years. There was a lawsuit. In 1980, Teaneck, after having sued the County of Bergen to return that property to the status of a park, won. It still didn't happen. They sued again in the early 2000s to have them enforce the decision of the court in 1980. That resulted in a settlement in the year of 2003. According to that settlement, the county had 6 years to environmentally remediate all of the parts of the park that Teaneck had given to the county. Area 4 remains unremediated. All we are asking is that the parkland be used as parkland and not a commercial amusement park and a parking lot. The reason, we're all Democrats here. This is a Democratic county government. What makes us different from the other party is that we care deeply about environmental concerns. This is an area that is a wildlife refuge. It got to be that way because it's been ignored, and the trees grew up and the animals came in, and leave it that way. We don't need a commercial amusement park there. We need it as a wildlife refuge. Thank you.
Thank you. Ann Schnockenberg? Schneckenberg?
Yes.
Ann Schneckenberg, SANN, No address, no? Okay. I'm here tonight, even though I live in Passaic County, because I spend a lot of time and money in Bergen County. And I'm here tonight as a resident of the state of New Jersey, associated with Bergen County Audubon and the North Jersey Sierra Club. As someone who's upset with the disturbing anti-environmental trend happening across the state of New Jersey, on both sides of the aisle, by elected officials who appear to be promoting the recreational development, overdevelopment of natural areas and public open spaces that were placed in the public trust to be protected by elected officials like yourselves, and free from special interests and other forms of destruction. I, like many of the others here tonight, are disappointed and upset by your plan to develop yet another one of our last remaining public open spaces, left in one of the most developed areas in our state. Last year, we faced a similar situation in Passaic County when our freeholders wanted to develop one of our last natural park areas with a disc golf course. It actually created quite an uproar that culminated in a pro-environmental protest in front of all places, the Passaic County Democratic Committee headquarters. Fortunately, our freeholders eventually listened and did the right thing and halted the plan. Hopefully, they will continue to listen. And hopefully, you will listen too and put an end to this destructive project and protect your natural area too. You need to get back to basics. You're alienating your base. The people in New Jersey are sick and tired of seeing the elected officials they support turn and support overdevelopment of land that's placed into public trust, natural areas. From the quote from the Democratic Party platform, Democrats believe in the conservation and collaborative stewardship of our shared natural heritage, the public lands and waterways, oceans, Everglades, Great Lakes, and Arctic, and all that makes America's great outdoors priceless. As a nation, we need policies and investments that will keep America's public lands public, strengthen protection for our natural and cultural resources, increase access to parks and public lands for all Americans, protect native species and wildlife, and harness the immense economic and social potential of our public lands and waters. Again, you've alienated the base. Please think about what you're doing and about to do. You appear to have a problem with dinosaurs here in Bergen County, animatronic dinosaurs. But I'm here tonight to discuss a problem with a different kind of dinosaurs. Dino, D-I-N-O. Democrats in name only. Please rethink what you're doing. Get back to your democratic roots and protect the environment. Thank you.
Chairman, if I could just address her, please.
Freeholder Tinelli would like to make but before you do, I just want everyone here to know, we are moving the exhibit from one area to the other. We are not adding additional space. We are just moving it from one area to the other, remediating an old problem. I sit here and hear some of the comments, like we're alienating this, we're alienating that. This dinosaur exhibit's been here for almost 3 years, and we're moving it to the other side. So, and at the same time, we're gonna solve a problem and cap off a landfill. Freeholder Tinelli?
So what's alarming to me is that we can all have disagreements and have conversation about disagreements. Well, when you come up, obviously, you're not from Bergen County, because most of what you said in your statement is absolutely not what's going on in Bergen County. This Freeholder Board aggressively made sure that we finally, after everyone spoke, fully funded the Open Space Trust Fund. So now we have a lot more money to acquire. We are aggressively seeking open space to preserve open space in Bergen County. I live in South Bergen. There's no open space down there. We're looking for every opportunity to enhance the open space in the entire county. So to come up here and say that we're not taking care of our natural resources and we're not protecting open space is just absurd. So why don't we just keep our comments to the fact that you don't want us to move the dinosaur exhibit? We need to clean up the landfill, and we'll have to have a discussion. What you guys went to and actually attended was a meeting where open space presented and you guys got to give your feedback like you are doing tonight. But let's keep it to the fact that we have a disagreement. We need to discuss the disagreement, not start accusing people of taking down Bergen County's natural preserves. I mean, you have to be kidding me with that lecture speech you just gave us. Thank you, Chairman.
Mohammed Hamadou? You're gonna have to spell it, Mohammed. I can't even say it. It's okay.
First name Mohammed, M-O-H-A-M-M-E-D, last name H-A-M-E-E-D, U-D-D-I-N. Good evening, Chairman, Freeholders. Thank you for giving me this time. At the last meeting, when we were discussing the dinosaur park and what was happening in Overpeck Park, our township manager and our attorney was there who hadn't been briefed at that time. Since that time, I've had the chance to speak with County Executive Tedesco and Julian Niels. We're very comfortable with the direction that you're going in. To the comments tonight, I think that it's very interesting that people's talking about what the Democratic Party is. The Democratic Party is a very diverse party, and I don't think that this is a microcosm of what the Democratic Party is. I don't profess to speak for anybody back there, but I'm a pretty big member in the Democratic Party, and they don't speak for me. So that being said, I leave you with the story that my 5-year-old and 7-year-old, who are really excited about the dinosaur park, their friends at Bryant are very school. What'd you say? Who said something?
Mayor, please address.
What's going on?
Can I get the officer, please?
What did they say?
Mayor, please address. Excuse me. There will be no more crosstalk. The people that have the floor will have the floor. If we can't adhere to the rules, we'll ask you to leave. We are going to act civilly, and we're going to get through this together like adults, okay? There'll be no more crosstalk. Thank you.
You know, I didn't interrupt anybody, so.
Please continue.
So that being said, my children and their friends are very excited about this idea of a park. And put it in a historical perspective, in this area where is across the street from Glen Point. Back in 1980, Glen Point was supposed to be built with a mall. It was supposed to have a movie theater. There was supposed to be a lot of amenities that were going to happen. And because of opposition, we did not get those amenities. If we had those amenities today, my tax base would be a lot different, and maybe I wouldn't have to be looking at this park to be putting up and the things that we're looking at right now. So I understand progress has enemies. I understand that people have disagreements, but I think that one of the things that this is a good plan that you guys are putting together. It brings people to the area, it brings commerce to the area, it helps people to come in and then go to the park, it solves issues of kids going to the park and solving childhood obesity. There's a lot of different things other than what's going on right now. Now again, the last part is when we talk about, I think there was a mention of, there are no deer accidents in Teaneck that have gone up because of overdevelopment, and there are no health violations or anything like that's going on. So thank you for your time. I apologize for my reaction to people heckling me, but I think that, if we're going to be in a civil society, then everybody needs to act civil and everybody needs to behave by the same rules. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to say it before I ask the next speaker to come up. I'm going to say it again. Everyone has 3 minutes to speak. You need to respect the person that's speaking and not interrupt them as they did for you. And if anyone wants to be interrupting, I'm going to have the officer clear you from the room. We need to respect each other. We're not going to go through what goes on sometimes in society today. We're going to sit here and we're going to be adults and we're going to respect each other, or I'm going to ask you to leave. Mary Walsh?
I'm the Conservation Chair of the local chapter of the New Jersey Sierra Club. You've all received a letter from us by email and by hard copy. I'd like to read it aloud for the record. You're well aware that Overpeck operates under the jurisdiction of Green Acres, and thus you must abide by its statutes. These statutes include the following. The definition of conservation and recreation does not include using public land for the purpose that you have suggested. The only phrase remotely related is that biological and ecological study is permitted. This would actually transpire if you left the woods as they are and put some trails through. In fact, the destruction of trees necessary for the dinosaurs to be set up will prevent biological and ecological study. Second, any development that will significantly impair the land's natural resources, which, as determined by Green Acres, this is not permitted. To destroy many acres of open space for a parking lot and a dinosaur park is a significant impairment. We note that the wildlife in the area will be disturbed by the removal of so many trees. According to the grant description from the DEP for Overpeck Park, Area 2 improvements will create public access to 75 acres where there is currently no public access, and will include walkways, trails, boardwalks, a footbridge, etc. Since a third-party vendor will be needed to provide services in respect of the operation of the dinosaur park, this gives rise to questions regarding public access and the extent of the public benefits to private interests after the implementation of these proposed changes. Lastly, Rutgers Center for Urban Environmental Sustainability recently analyzed almost 3,000 surveys about the parks. They held 8 public meetings with 300 participants. They found that, among other things, they want you to protect our nature areas, and they don't want you to commercialize the parks. We feel confident that the county will find another place to put the dinosaurs. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Miriam Taub?
Miriam, last name Taub, like boy. I'm Teaneck resident. I'm a member of the Teaneck Creek Conservancy. I certainly welcome some environmentally sensitive improvements to Area 2, like trails, like boardwalks. It would be great if we had some place to walk, small parking lot to clean up the area. Yes, we know it was a dump, but it's our dump. Right now, the dinosaurs have a home in the Henry Hobel area. Maybe that needs a little bit of improvement, but they already have a home. There's no sense in tearing up Area 2 for a private enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Stephen Quinn.
QUINN. Stephen with PH. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, thanks for the opportunity to speak. I'm very familiar with area number 2. I'm a lifelong resident of Richfield Park. I grew up as a child in those woods, and historically, those woods are home to wood ducks, red-tailed hawks. Today, white-tailed deer, wild turkey, red fox, coyote, all live there. Last year, we had a pair of great horned owls nest in that property. It's been my great privilege over the last 39 years to have worked for the American Museum of Natural History. My job at the museum was the design, fabrication, and installation of science exhibits. You will probably know the museum is known for its world-class collection of dinosaurs and the staff of scientists. I worked with those same scientists in the 90s to create the current dinosaur halls. On July 23rd, the executive director and president of Field Station Dinosaurs stated that his exhibits are the same as anyone would find in a natural history museum. And I'm here to tell you tonight that that is not true. I visited Field Station Dinosaurs. The models that he displays are inaccurate scientifically. They are often gaudily painted. The sound systems that he pipes in to accompany the dinosaurs are right out of Hollywood. For instance, he displays a Jurassic dinosaur named Consignathus rampaging through the interior of a tent, a la Jurassic Park. So I think we have to be very clear that this is a very mediocre amusement park and not a science education facility that we may approve. These are very mediocre exhibits, and I question sacrificing such a wonderful open space when open space is at such a premium these days, where actual real science can be conducted and taught to young people and adults. Field Station Dinosaurs costs a child, if they're to see everything, in excess of $30 admission. $30. If you're going to see everything and pay the additional costs. The American Museum charges $13 to see all their dinosaurs. So just prior to approving this, realize how precious that green space is and how little of it is left in Bergen County. Northern Bergen County has Camp Gaw, Ramapo Mountain Reservation.
3 minutes, Mr. Quinn.
Thank you. And the Wildlife Center. Southern Bergen County has very few places like this, so please do your best to save it. Thank you.
Christopher Tackix.
Christopher Tackis from Lyndhurst, it's spelled T-A-K-A-C-S. I'm a board member with Bergen County Audubon. I've lived in Lyndhurst down near the Meadowlands for almost getting close to 30 years. Freeholder Tinelli, I am very pleased that I see that Bergen County it's acquiring pieces of land. I really look forward to more and more hiking and more trails up in the Ramapos because of what Bergen County's been able to do. I think that's a great idea. Chairman Sullivan, I do agree, it is a garbage dump. It needs to be remediated. When Mr. Gassell spoke the other night, he said he hasn't made any money, he's lost money. I said, I don't know why we're working with someone who runs a business that is losing money. He also said that Field Station Dinosaurs tricks children to come in to be educated. My wife is a teacher. They don't trick. Teachers don't trick children to become educated. Bergen County Audubon, we teach children. We teach children about what's going on in nature. This is a great place to be able to do it, as is Teaneck Creek, as is the Meadowlands, as is the other parks throughout the county. We teach with our hearts. We teach because we want to teach these kids. We don't trick them. It just seems like there's always seems to be something funny going along with Field Station Dinosaurs when it was in Hudson County and then when it left. I said, these parks belong to the people of Bergen County, people of New Jersey. They shouldn't be brought out to pay $15, $20, $30 to trick our kids to be educated. It's just not right. Thank you.
Ellen Schwartz.
SCHWARTZ. I've lived in Teaneck for 50 years. I'm a guide at the New York Botanical Garden and at Wave Hill. And based on my experience, I know that people have a deep longing to spend time in nature. It's soothing, it relieves stress. In fact, the day after 9/11 occurred, the New York Botanical Garden had more visitors than it ever had in its whole history. I'm opposed to putting a dinosaur exhibit in Overpeck County Park. This precious green acre, 75-acre open space needs to remain as open space. You need to put in trails. It's a place where people can walk, they can listen to birds and learn about nature and just be in nature. I attended the meeting at the Rhoda Center last year where residents were asked to let the county know what we desired in our parks. And the results of that survey, I understand, demonstrated that 80% of the people did not want more construction in the parks, but wanted open space to be maintained. If you want to spend some money, I would say remediate, make the woods an even better place, and Overpeck needs more. Overpeck, where we walk now by the creek, needs more benches because they stop after a very short time, and people who can't make the walk and need to rest have no place to rest. And you need to have shade trees along that path because in the summertime, after 10 o'clock in the morning, you can't walk there. There's absolutely no shade. Thank you.
Thank you. Don Torino.
Donnie. Thank you for letting me speak. Let me say, I'm not here to argue about your commitment to open space. I'm well aware of this administration's hard work on open space. I'm on the Open Space Trust Fund Committee. I've seen it every day for years. But I really have to say that this dinosaur park is a big step backwards to everything the county has accomplished and wants to accomplish. Our park survey was plain and simple that we want to keep our parks natural. And as you said, Steve, in this part of the county, there's not enough open space for people. People need places to relax and take their kids and not have to spend money to do it. There's so many studies that say for our own mental health, for our kids' health, for learning, that we need natural places to walk and to relax. Bergen County Audubon has worked for years with Teaneck Creek, the New Jersey Meadowlands, Skylands Park in Ringwood on educating people, children and families for free. We never asked for anything, to have real natural education. We can't go backwards. If the reason for building on this area was it's a dump, we'd have no New Jersey Meadowlands now. It wouldn't be there because it was a dump. We have to build on it. It has to be remediated, yes. But just like the Meadowlands, it should be remediated to become a wonderful natural place that it is. Like Teaneck Creek across the street. We're not building hotels on that. We're not building dinosaur parks there. It's a wonderful place that should continue. Our wildlife needs places that are not destroyed. And believe me, though it may seem harmless that the dinosaur park is keeping up trees, the understory is harmed. Between the parking lot and the dinosaur park will limit the number of species that will use that area. Habitat works like a layer cake. Upper trees, lower trees, the ground layer. Things like wood thrush need that ground layer and unbroken habitat to nest. Now, you may not even know what that species is or even care, and I don't expect most people to, but most people just love being in nature. It doesn't matter. We need that preserved here. We need to work together and find a way to work together to keep that natural and bring people in. We don't need to commercialize it. We don't need our citizens with kids, hardworking families to spend more money. We need to keep the parks the way the people want them. Keep them natural. And anything I can do to work with you and my organization can, we are here. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments. I just want to clarify something. It was not said that we're going to build there because it's a dump. It needs to be remediated because it's a dump. That's what was said. Not that we're just going to build on it. You made it sound like I said, oh, let's just build because it's a dump. That's not what I said. We are obligated to clean that site. The site is dangerous, as per all the debris, and the NJDEP has identified the park as a solid waste landfill where debris is located in several sections of the park, which must be closed. So we are not just going in there and ruining open space. There are things that need to be done with this space, and I just want to get that point across to everyone. We are not here to say we're going to build on it just because it's a dump, okay? Thank you. George Raskasis? Yeah, not bad. Yeah.
Okay, you spelled.
I'm Irish, I get most of them right.
Reskakis. Thanks for listening to me tonight. I have been involved in Overpeck Area 1, that is the Teaneck Creek, for 15 years, since its inception. I was board member for many years. I run the volunteer program there. We spend a lot of time there. I spend a lot of time there. And I've worked with some of your experts to identify these areas that need to be closed, the part of the landfill. And where I sort of disagree with you, Mr. Chairman, is that the whole place is a garbage dump. And that's where I disagree. It's not.
No, it's not.
I've looked at the images. I've seen them. And of the 75 acres in Area 2, there are plots that need to be remediated, where microsurgery needs to be done. I'm a doctor, so I get to talk like this. This is a perfect case.
I'm not going to tell you what I do for a living.
Right. This is a perfect case
Yes, you will.
where we really need to do microsurgery. We need to attack those areas where the pollutants are, take care of them, and then save the rest of the park. What the plan that you guys have presented, a 400-spot parking lot and this dinosaur park, is certainly going to remediate the park, but the patient's going to die. I don't want to end up with a dead patient here. And I don't think you do either. I think you can realize that the people that are feeding you this information should be telling you the truth, which is it's about 15 acres that needs to be remediated, not 75. And you can do that without building a 400-spot parking lot that no one's going to use. That's going to destroy habitat. That's going to be terrible for the environment. That's going to increase flooding. That's going to change the salinity of the Overpeck Creek and eventually affect Newark Bay and all of our environments. We need flood places where the water can go. We don't need parking lots where the water will pool. The amount of money that you're going to spend, and I know good ideas when I see them. Teaneck Creek, great idea. Brilliant. Didn't cost the county much at all. Area 2, we can turn it into another Teaneck Creek. We know this works. We can do this. This paradigm works. We can do it again. It's X dollars to fix the landfill. It's X plus a lot to build a parking lot and a dinosaur park. In Teaneck Creek, it was just X. In Area 2, it just has to be X again. Why are we going to spend all of our taxpayer dollars to build this big thing when we could do it for X? Let's let the patient live. That's a good idea. Thank you.
Laura Tracy Call. Did I get that right?
LauraTraCey-Coll. Good evening, everyone. I'm with the New Jersey Executive Committee of the Sierra Club. I'm here today to support all who've come in opposition to the plastic dinosaur exhibit and parking lot that's planned for Overpeck Park. I plan to support them and give us all the resources that we can to research and get information out. I have a side note also, where I walk in Elmwood Park by the artesian wells, it's become extremely overgrown, and a neighbor came out to us yesterday and begged us to ask you guys if you could come down and trim it out and take back some of the underbrush and everything, because it's just like out of control. My son is 18 years old, 6'2", huge guy, afraid of the park. So we don't bring our dogs around there. We're afraid of the coyotes. We're afraid of like a lot of things going on in that park. So that's just a side thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
You know where that is?
I got it.
Gardea Wallace.
Another one. A late one.
Spell it Gordon. Gordon.
That was easy.
I have two Scottish names, Gordon and Wallace. I've lived in Bergen County all my life, taught at Pagoda and Tenafly High School for 45 years, and coached track and cross-country, one or the other, an indoor track for 40 years. And certainly have used county facilities in practicing for cross-country meets, competing. My teams competed in cross-country meets. All of these things that I've mentioned have to do with using the parks in a way that is natural, that is not tearing up the parks in any way for commercial ventures. And I took two grandchildren, and my daughter actually paid for it, but we went to see the dinosaurs about 10 days ago, a weekday. More than half of the people there were camp groups, and they seemed to be purchasing meals there that seemed to be catered and sold to them. The general public otherwise was meager in total numbers, and it was a very nice day. I think it's very unfortunate if this group and our county government gets involved in supporting a frankly extremely cheesy, cheap organization that is trying to make money out of this effort. I know they will say, well, their structures are temporary because they're hoping that you will let them go to a more permanent place. But what they were doing was so far from anything like attending the Museum of Natural History that it was unbelievable. We paid our money, we went in, a rather enterprising and smiling and quite clever fellow picked a 10-year-old and asked him to identify pictures. Which is this man
3 minutes, Mr. Wallace.
an archaeologist or a former governor of New Jersey? Seriously, that was his question. He asked,
Your 3 minutes are up, if you could just wrap it up. I'd
yes, he
appreciate it.
asked
Yep.
about 10 of those, and another kid was asked another 10, and that was it. And the only other place that we went in,
Mr. Wallace, I'd ask you to
Yes,
please wrap it up.
okay.
Thank you.
the person in the other place gave balloon dogs to all the little kids and said, this is what a dinosaur looks like, so you can take it home.
Thank you, sir.
It was very disappointing, not an educational enterprise at all. Thank you.
Anna Kurtz.
Anna with two N's, Kurtz, K-U-R-Z. You're welcome. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing us to speak to you. I speak for myself, although I'm a member of the Audubon Society, a garden club, the Shade Tree Advisory Board, New York, New Jersey Trail Conference. I'm a tree hugger. And so I am.
God bless you.
Thank you. I am opposed to using public lands for now I'm finding out, a very cheesy private enterprise for profit. And apparently it's not being very profitable. But I would like that land to stay open. I walk a lot. I take my dog. I've been on Overpeck number 2. And yeah, it could use some remediation. But it's also, it has a lot of animals there, and you can walk around and find, sometimes you can find under trees. I've seen a pair of red-tailed hawks. I've heard from people who live nearby that they've heard coyotes. And please, please leave the dinosaur park where it is. Actually, if you banned it, that wouldn't be so bad, I think. But I would like that part of the park to remain open and for animals to continue to have a place to live. We're pushing them out everywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to clarify, that area is not open. It is one of the last sections of the county park that is not open to the public. There are signs there that tell people that they're not supposed to be there. No disrespect, I'm just telling you that park right now is not open and it's considered dangerous. So, Louis DiCipolla.
DISCEPOLA. Hi, Louis DiCipolla. I'm a resident of Hackensack, member of Bergen County Audubon, Sierra Club. I also am the Hackensack Environmental Commission, but I'm speaking on my own behalf at this time. So I just want to also, I'll be brief because I think a lot of what I wanted to say has already been said. But I just want to go on record saying I also strongly oppose this plan. I became aware of it at a public hearing, I guess about a week and a half ago. I guess Mr. Strobel conducted the hearing, and I, listened to the plan, and I immediately was opposed to it, and ironically, it was held in Teaneck Creek Conservancy, which is, I guess, is Area 1, and it's the perfect model, I guess, that I think should be done for Area 2. They're both on the same side, away from more the recreational area on the other side, which is very nice. People could go there, enjoy, run, play, attend the current dinosaur park there. I just think it's more natural to try to emulate what's done in Area 1 and also conduct that in Area 2. And also, just for the record, I stood up earlier I didn't heckle anyone. I always respect everyone's comments. I just was really opposed to his behavior coming in a threatening manner, so I apologize if I was standing
We
up
just need
earlier.
to respect each other.
Yeah, but I
Not
wasn't the
enough of
one.
that in the world.
I agree, and I wasn't the one that heckled. I just was annoyed that he approached us in a threatening manner.
Understood. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you,
All
everyone.
right, good night.
We gotta start.
I'm Smith, is it Celine Smith?
We'll yell our names after the reports.
Smith. Hi. I'm not going to be adding too much more because everybody was very articulate, and I agree with just about everything that was said from the audience. I have been a resident of Teaneck for close to 70 years, living in the same neighborhood basically for that time. And when we moved there, the neighborhood was full. All the houses were built. There was no more houses, maybe a vacant lot that left after 5 years. So the parks of Teaneck were always very important, and they were beautifully kept, and we all used them, many of the parks. However, growing up, there was no wild space. There was no Teaneck Creek. There was no river walk by the Hackensack River. You went to a park with the swings. There was no other option. And if you couldn't go to Van Zorn or something else, you were stuck with just where you were, which was perfectly fine. But I really am concerned that the county is giving credibility and seems to be considering getting rid of more of the public space, which is really a public trust, for a commercial enterprise that may or may not be successful, but that's not what the public space is for, to make a profit. It's for the people. And the people of Teaneck want to keep their spaces a little wild. We didn't build a boardwalk along the Hackensack River or create a path that's paved. The people of Teaneck wanted to have a little bit of a wild path along the Hackensack River as opposed to the other side. And the volunteers who staff Teaneck Creek, the Friends of the Hackensack River, the Shade Tree Commission, are here to maintain the ecology, the public spaces of the community and the county. And interestingly, I never saw a deer walking down my street until the last few years. So there's really things changing, and that's not a good thing. So as an educator, a former educator, the last point I'm going to make is, I've been retired a few years, so there was no dinosaur park when I was working. However, when we wanted to study, see, or the kids were interested in dinosaurs, we went to where that gentleman works, the Museum of Natural History. Worldwide renown, valid scientific background, and the kids, that's what they were amazed by, the real dinosaurs, not the Disney animatronic dinosaurs. Thank you.
Again, I just want to clear one thing up. We're not using all 75 acres for the dinosaurs. Okay, it's a small portion of the property, maybe 20 out of the 75. So I just want to clear up that misconception for the record, that we're not using 75 acres just for a dinosaur park. There'll be walking trails, there'll be other things there that'll be open to the public, which is not right now. Carol Lee Adams from Montvale, I'll add.
Good evening. I'm going to take a little change from the prior discussion. Carol Lee Adams, lifelong resident, won't tell you how many years of Bergen County, moving from the southern part to the northern part now in Montvale. First and foremost, I'm here to specifically thank you all, and particularly Chairman Sullivan, for the resolution that you provided honoring the Hoving Home, which has celebrated its 51st anniversary in Rivervale, New Jersey. Chairman Sullivan gave an extraordinarily heartfelt speech to the group, which really impacted many of us who were there. The room in Rivervale was full. And the Hoving Home, perhaps in the resolution that you may have signed, is a faith-based alcohol and addiction recovery center for women ages 18 to 33, 51 years young, and they have an 82% success rate. So that we are indeed honored to have had Chairman Sullivan attend humble appreciation and for your issuing the resolution. I will not go into the second reason why I'm here tonight in great detail, other than it does concern deer management. I love deer. In fact, you walk into my house, you'll immediately see my wallpaper and my drapes have a beautiful design pattern with various wildlife, including deer. However, right now, as I saw that Saddle River adopted an ordinance that would use lethal means to cull the population of deer in their community because I believe the Department of Environmental Protection, and I have the letter in my possession, but that they denied that application to cull the population by some type of spraying of the does because of whatever. So they went to the lethal method. And this has caused a great deal of disruption. Now, I have been, the first time I ever saw a deer in Montvale was 35 years ago. It was the first deer, Garden State Parkway exit. One deer, traffic stopped, took pictures. And today, of course, the amount of deer that we have in our neighborhoods, as I heard somebody say, walking down the streets, it's quite common. And I have statistics, and I'm going to be sending you emails, so I wanted to preface what I'm going to be sending you with what I'm trying to accomplish. Trying to accomplish some type of, rather than lethal means to cull the population, which I don't even care to do, but I don't know. Since I have had 6 close encounters with a deer, 1 hit, 1 even when I was walking on a walking trail, and 1 jumped in front of me, right in front of my nose, and it was a buck. And I could feel the fur going across it. Having friends and family who have had their lives inalterably changed by Lyme disease. In fact, the one thing a Riverdale teen has written once in some type of, I think in Pascagoula Valley News, how much longer will silence ring over Bergen County? And that can, thank you. But I will just ask you to look for my emails, understand full well that this is not something that I think any of us want to necessarily address, but I look at the vasectomy program in Staten Island as probably being the most successful to date. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I have no more papers up here. May I have a motion to close the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The meeting is closed to the public. I just want to ask our county administrator to explain a few things, but I'm just going to read this, just so you know where we're at. The county is proposing to close and cap the landfill to comply with NJDEP regulations and because it is the environmentally correct thing to do. Additionally, to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and visitors who can realize the benefits of established public access and learn about the economic value of the site. So that is our plan. I appreciate everybody's comments, regardless if we agree or disagree. This is the forum to get your voice heard, and your questions and your statements will all go back to the administration, and they will listen to what you said. And I want to thank everyone here today for conducting themselves in a proper manner. So thank you all for coming here. We appreciate your comments, and again, we will do the best we can. Just a couple questions for our administrator. If you'd like to add something, that would be great. Do you have the environmental impact of what would happen to this property?
Yes, Chairman, and there's a series of information that we've been provided with by Parks that I just want to go over some of the points that have been made by the public that, as has already been stated, whether you agree or disagree on the ultimate project, I just think we should get some of the facts out. One of the facts, as you did state that I've been advised, is that the dino area would only occupy about 20 acres. And that is an area that apparently is in need of remediation. And the department has retained an environmental firm, Biohabitats Incorporated, and under the DEP rules, as you indicated, they have to cap and close the landfills, and that apparently encompasses several areas as part of Area 2. Biohabitats has done an analysis of the plant species and the wildlife, and also they conducted other tests to understand the habitat within the park. They identified the green infrastructure design practices that should be used in that area. With regard to the actual parking lot that has been a subject of a lot of the discussion, that is actually an area that is required to be capped. And the plan with regard to it has taken many environmental considerations into effect. So again, Biohabitats was overseeing the plan for the parking lot. The materials to be used apparently are going to follow the green infrastructure practices. There's going to be a bioswale to filter stormwater and runoff. There's going to be infiltration techniques that the runoff will be reduced and limit the overall volume of water to be retained on the site. The parking lot has been cited to avoid the sensitive habitat areas identified on the property. So apparently, the site where the parking lot is going has been identified as a non-sensitive habitat area. One of the other things that was pointed out is that the parking area apparently is going to accommodate a number of public uses. It's going to be available when there's overflow parking in other areas of the park, buses available to transport patrons to and from the park. It'll eliminate the unsafe and destructive parking that's happening right now in the Great Lawn, apparently associated with the Henry Hobel area. It'll also allow visitors who want to enjoy the Teaneck Creek section to be developed, that's actually exists in Area 1. This will be able to serve them as well. That 46-acre park area apparently does not have a parking lot, so the ultimate goal would be to serve both of these areas. There's going to be an installation and realignment of low-impact trails. So there's a network of trails that are identified for the area as well. And again, this is all being planned for the minimal loss of vegetation and positioning of features that are going to blend into the existing landscape. And all of these improvements are not dependent upon the dinosaur operation. So if the dinosaur operation were to cease and go, you would still have the trails and other features. With regard to the dinosaur area, according to the records that the county's been keeping, and part of what has supported the idea of allowing the additional space for the dinosaurs to move, is that there was about 175,000 visitors reported that have gone to see the dinosaur area since it's been in the Leonia section of the park. So I understand that there may be some opposition to it, but from the study that had been done, there's a significant number of county residents who have visited the park in the Leonia area. As far as the environmental impact as well, is one of the other things that Biohabitats had discovered is because of the growth that has taken place in this area too, it being on top of the garbage dump, it has a series of unstable roots and is not actually safe, which is part of the reason why people are not allowed in the area. So that will all have to be remediated, whether the dinosaurs go there or not. So that all of that overgrowth and things will have to be removed in the several areas that have to be remediated.
Thank you, sir. And just to clarify, it'll be a 300 parking lot, a 300 spot lot, not 400. And I understand the frustrations here, but we are doing everything we can to make this being done the right way. We're not trying to kill the patient, as someone here said. All of these things that are being done are done to save the patient. So we are taking a proactive approach and making sure we do this environmentally sound. So I just want to have that get across to all of you. And again, I can't thank you all enough for coming and having the dialogue that we had here tonight. So I think we should take a 5-minute recess for our stenographer to get her fingers rested. Can I have a motion for a 5-minute recess?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
5-minute recess. Can I have a motion to reopen the meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried? Okay. Will the clerk read the resolutions on the consent agenda?
Resolutions of consent are 714-18 through 763-18.
May I have a motion to accept the resolutions on the consent agenda as read by the clerk?
Move the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoreso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss is absent. Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes.
With 5 votes, the consent agenda passes.
Are there any resolutions pulled, postponed, or tabled? If so, will the clerk please read?
There are none.
Okay, we'll now go on to our ordinances for first reading and introduction. Ordinance 1827. Will the clerk read the ordinance 1827 by title only, please?
1827 is a bond ordinance providing for bridge improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $975,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $928,500 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 1827 as read by the clerk?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss is absent. Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes.
With 5 ayes, 1827 passes first reading.
Thank you. We will now go on to our ordinance for second reading and adoption. Our ordinances, Ordinance 18-17 through 18-23. Will the clerk read 18-17, please?
1817 is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $6,237,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $5,938,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1817 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, July 20th, 2018.
May I have a motion to open the hearing on ordinance 1817 to the public?
So moved.
Is there a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public hearing is open with a 5-minute time limit in effect to speak about ordinance 18-17 only at this time. The board attorney will keep the time. Is there anyone wishing to be heard on ordinance 18-17? Please approach the microphone.
My name is Thomas Joseph Von Lindern. The last name is Vonlindern. I just wondered what the process is in the Board of Freeholders to do their due diligence on this. How do you work that? It's a $16 million bond issue? Who is going to back that bond? Is it going to a Bank of America?
Moody's, correct? I'll let your administrator answer that.
Once it's authorized, then the CFO, in connection with our bond counsel, will take it to actual sale. And then you'll have many banks that will then.
You put it out to auction or something like that?
Yes, it's basically like somewhat of an auction process. But then there are several banks that then will propose bids to want to hold the bonds for the county. And we look to, the eventual one will be offering the best return on the investment, and then there's a certain amount that's guaranteed back to the bond holders.
So what is their profit on a bond like this?
It's not like any other bank where you talk about what interest rates typically look like now. They're not great, so you're talking 2%, 3%, 4%.
Over
Some of it will
what
actually
time period?
Well, the bonds are usually out for 30 years. It's usually a 30-year bond period. They could be defeased at an earlier point in time, depending on the financial structure of the county. But that's basically how they make their money, is where they think that they're going to be able to offer us a certain return and what they think they'll be able to float it for in the open market.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks. Appreciate your comments. Is there anyone else wishing to be heard on ordinance 18-17 only? Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 18-17?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there any board discussion on ordinance 18-17? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adopt ordinance 18-17 as was read by the clerk?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss is absent. Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes.
With 5 ayes, 1817 is adopted.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read ordinance 18-18 by title only?
1818 is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $236,500 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $225,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1818 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, July 20th, 2018.
Thank you. May I have a motion to open the hearing on ordinance 18-18 to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now open on 1818. Is there anyone who'd like to speak on 1818?
Appear to be none.
May I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 1818?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there any board discussion on ordinance 18-18? Seeing none, may I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1818 as is read by the clerk? Do I have a motion?
Second.
Gantz,
Do I have a motion?
David.
Freeholder Gantz.
Okay. Second,
Me. Mary.
Freeholder Amoroso. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss is absent. Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes.
With 5 ayes, 1818 is adopted.
Thank you. Will the clerk read ordinance 1819 by title only?
1819 is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $1,622,500 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,545,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1819 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, July 20th, 2018.
Thank you. May I have a motion, open the hearing on ordinance 1819 to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is open on 1819. Is there anyone wishing to speak?
Me again.
Okay, come on up, state your name. That's great.
Hi, my name is Thomas Joseph von Linden. What are the specifics that this money is going to go for? Is that published somewhere?
Yes,
It's
it
like kind of a general agreement that we're going to spend $1.6 million, is that correct?
Correct, 1.6.
For-
For the prosecutor's office.
Oh, for the
This one's prosecutor's office. They're all for different
What do they need
divisions.
that money for?
There's actually various things that they need with regard to IT upgrades, actual infrastructure upgrades to certain of their offices. And there's also other devices that they use in their investigation that are also being purchased as part of the.
Is that
capital.
itemized somewhere?
Yes, it is.
In the budget, when the budget was presented to the freeholders, all these capital were in there. So there's nothing here that wouldn't have been in the budget.
Just asking.
No, this is great. This is great to have someone ask questions, the public will get to know what's going
I
on.
can't sleep at night.
No, and you know, by the way, that we've instituted a 5-year capital plan. So we're planning for various divisions of the county over a 5-year period.
Good, that's good.
Thank you. Next
Planning
time
is
we'll
good.
say that during the freeholder
Thank you.
comment. Okay. I have a motion to close the hearing on 1819.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there any board discussions other than Ms. Amoroso? We just had hers. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you,
May
Chairman.
I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1819 as was read by the clerk?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss is absent. Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes.
With 5 ayes, 1819 is adopted.
Thank you. Will the clerk please read ordinance 1820 by title only?
1820 is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $1,370,500 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,305,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1820 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, July 20th, 2018.
May I have a motion to open the hearing to the public on ordinance 1820?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is now open on ordinance 1820. Anyone wishing to speak on 1820, please approach the microphone. Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 1820?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there any board discussion? No?
Health services.
Thank
This
you.
one's health services.
Thank you, Freeholder Amoroso, for the record. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1820 as was read by the clerk?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss is absent. Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes,
With 5 ayes, 1820 is adopted.
thank you. Will the clerk please read ordinance 1821 by title only?
1821 is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $398,500 therefore, and organizing the issuance of $379,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance $379,000 bonds or the notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1821 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on July 20th, 2018.
May I have a motion to open the hearing on ordinance 1821 to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now open on 1821. Anyone wishing to be heard, please approach the microphone. Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 1821?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there any board discussion on ordinance 1821?
Human services.
Thank you, Freeholder. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1821 as was read by the clerk? Clerk, not cloak. Clerk.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss is absent. Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes,
With 5 ayes, 1821 is adopted.
thank you. Will the clerk please read ordinance 1822 by title only?
1822 is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $5,955,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $5,924,500 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1822 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, July 20th, 2018.
May I have a motion to open the hearing on ordinance 1822 to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The hearing is now open on ordinance 1822. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please step forward. Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 1822 to the public?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there any board discussion?
This is capital improvements for special services school districts and vocational schools.
Thank you, Freeholder. I'm going to ask you to do that at every meeting. It's very informative, seriously. Thank you. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1822 as was read by the clerk? May I have a motion?
So
to-
moved.
Thank you. Wait up. All in favor? Opposed? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss is absent. Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes.
With 5 ayes, 1822 is adopted.
I think we got one more, right?
This is the last one.
Two more, okay. You okay, Larry?
Yes, sir.
Want some water?
No, I'm fine.
What's that? Kim, you all right? Okay. Will the clerk read ordinance 18-23 by title only?
1823 is a bond ordinance providing for various capital improvements by the County of Bergen, appropriating the aggregate amount of $1,500,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,500,000 bonds or notes of the county to finance part of the cost thereof. The proof of publication of the ordinance notice of public hearing was published in accordance with the law and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of hearing and ordinance number 1823 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 40A:2-17 on Friday, July 20th, 2018.
May I have a motion to open the hearing on ordinance 18-23 to the public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now open on 1823. Anyone wishing to be heard, please step forward. Seeing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 1823?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there any board discussion on ordinance 1823?
This is for capital improvements for Bergen Community College.
Thank you, Freeholder. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 18-23 as was read by the clerk?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Roll call, please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
Freeholder Gans. Vice Chairwoman Ortiz.
Yes.
Freeholder Tinelli.
Yes.
Freeholder Voss is absent. Freeholder Zur is absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes.
With 5 ayes, 1823 is adopted.
Okay. We will now have the Freeholder Committee reports, unless somebody wants to suspend them.
I'd like to suspend committee reports.
Make a motion.
Freeholder Ortiz has moved to suspend committee reports.
Is there a second?
Second.
Wow, I never
Do
thought
I
I'd
need a
ever
roll
hear
call
you
on that?
say
Roll?
second.
Call roll on
Roll,
that.
please.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Regretfully, yes.
Freeholder Gans. Vice Chairwoman
Yes.
Ortiz. Freeholder Tinelli.
I'm gonna beat a David tonight. No.
Freeholder Voss and Freeholder Zur are still absent. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes, in light of the length of the meeting, I vote yes. Okay, so with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, wait, did I get a second? I'm sorry.
I got
Second
a
by
second.
Freeholder Amoroso.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you.